Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. Get on in here, okay? Kick off your shoes and relax your feet, honey. So this is my review recap for The Handmaid's Tale Season 5, Episode 6, Together, okay? Well, since we've been together, loving you, whether whether times are good or bad, happy or sad. All right, let me stop. So, guys, things got crazy in this episode. This was a good episode. I was like, okay, what is happening here? Of course, we know we got June and Luke over here stranded in captivity. Okay, we don't know who the heck got them. What's going on? Is this part of Dagon? Canada? Is this part of Gilead? Is this part of No Man's Land? Who are these people and where are they taking them to? What is going on? We got Serena in her own captivity, baby, but she thinking she at the Dagon Holiday Inn, hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. She don't seem to be catching on to what is going on here, baby. And we just basically have Gilead being Gilead, honey, and we got some things going down that we found out about there that we did not know about. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this episode and break it all down, running back, take it from the top, okay? So, guys, of course, we started out this episode, seeing June and Luke riding in this daggone van. Luke is losing it, okay? He hopping all over the place. He trying to break the daggone door. Talking about, hold on. Then he trying to break the tires on his hands. It's understandable, okay? It might have been a little bit annoying, but of course you're going to be trying to get up out of here. You're going to be scared. You're going to be nervous because you do not know if these people is going to be killing you behind or not, all right? And June is kind of looking at him like, boy, if you don't stop, if you don't sit your behind still, you cannot break that, especially not with two. Maybe if it was one, you could. She done been down this rodeo before, right? So she knows a little bit more about how it works. And when he's asking her if this is Gilead, she's like, I don't think so, okay? That smell is chemicals, and they wouldn't be having all those chemicals. So at this point, June can kind of, may not know exactly what's going on, but she knows the things that Gilead does and what they don't do. Just like last week when they was walking and they seen the body in the woods hanging, and she was like, nah, Gilead don't leave no messages, okay? They would just go ahead and do what they're gonna do. They're not gonna write no messages. So who are these other people? Okay, I have questions, but we will get more into that as we go on. And so of course they reach the destination, and then he starts being like, first he cursing, next minute he like, oh Jesus, he calling out for God. I said, poor Luke, okay, he can't help himself. Like I said, he's never been through this before. And when I first did my review last week, I was saying like, June knows more about this. She's been down this road, so she knows how it works. She knows what's going on. It's not as, I'm not gonna say it's not a big of a thing, but she's just not gonna be as scared in that way as him, right? And so then they get there and they're taking their pictures, basically like if they're doing mug shots, right? Got them up against the wall, turn this way, turn that way. And June is trying to let them know, like, call Commander Lawrence and tell them what her name is. And they over here trying to check her ear to see if she have the tag and get a number off of that. And she basically slaps the guy hand down when, he goes to do that or whatever the case may be, right? And I was like, okay, June ain't wasting no time because she knows that they are basically, looking for her and that they have something on her head and they will want to do something to her. But you know how June is. June gone June. So she basically was like, what is this? Some sort of transit hub? She's trying to ask questions. She's like, where are you taking us? We're refugees, all right? We got asylum in Canada. There's people that you can call and things of that nature who can confirm who we are. And when he asked her name, she just was like, you know what I'm saying? June Osborne. She was letting him know. He's like, no, your ear tag, And so that's when she ain't want to mess around with them anymore, and she slaps the guy hand. Now, moving on to Serena, she coming down the stairs thinking she was about to go to this doctor's appointment, and she's seeing this guy at the bottom of the stairs, the stairs, and she's like, I'm sorry, it must be some kind of mistake. I thought I was supposed to be going for my ultrasound exam this morning. He like, oh yeah, you gonna get your ultrasound exam, okay? and points upstairs, baby. All right, she had to make a U-turn and take her behind up them damn stairs. So when she gets up there, he was telling her we don't have to go anywhere. It's a whole room made up, y'all. They already got that room there just like a freaking doctor's office, okay? It got the table, it got the freaking, paper that goes over the table, whatever the case may be, that they pull and cut off and throw in the trash when they finish with one, patient. The ultrasound machine, everything is there. So basically, she would never have to leave the house. All her doctor's appointments is going to be right there in that house. And more than likely, when she gives birth, she would give birth from right there in the house as well. Okay, so it's no reason for her to leave this house. And she's like, wow, this room has been here all this time. Like, I didn't know this was up here. And she was like, they did all this for me. Okay, because of course she trying to play it off. But this is actually looking, a little creepy. The doctor talking about, doesn't it look incredible? And she was like, yeah, just looking around, right? And so, he go ahead and he tell her to get them clothes off. He give her a gown and he basically just turn her back and she's looking mad awkward. He letting her know that, like I said, he can do the ultrasound and it's much safer and all this stuff. It may seem overcautious, but they understand how special she is. So I say, yeah, girl. So she talking about some how kind. Now, in the meantime, he tells her he gonna do the ultrasound first, and he turn around for her to put the gown on. So he go ahead and do this, exam on her, and he's saying that you seem to be pretty healthy, right? Things seem to be normal. It seems to be going, as it should or whatever, right? And he's telling her all about the, tissue being flexible or whatever the case may be. But he does say that, her blood pressure's up, right? And we definitely have to be concerned about that. Other than that, everything seems to be fine. So she was like, oh, well, I probably just got a little excited. And he was like, yeah, of course you are. That's understandable, right? But you got to try to slow things down. You might have to have bed rest for a few weeks, stay at home, resting is better. So she's like, okay, I'll do my best. And then, he basically ends up sitting down and saying, I don't want to offend you or anything, but I was just wondering if maybe you might want to come to dinner. I spoke to Ryan and Al about this already, right? Who encouraged me. We could either have the dinner here or we could have, the dinner at my house if you would be interested. So I said, wait a minute, you just finished giving her a damn, pap smear and checkup, and now you want to be asking her out on a date. So obviously they are trying to sit here and matchmake and put her with somebody who could, I guess, possibly become her daggone husband, right after doing a daggone exam for her. So I said, okay, this is getting real interesting. I see where y'all going, I think, And it's funny to me because, like I said, Serena's always in this daggone bubble. It seems like she's really thinking that she's here as a daggone guest and these people are doing these, things for her, whatever the case may be. And I said, well, what's so bad about it, Serena? Because you sure enough was trying to get Mr. Lawrence to, marry you not even 2 weeks ago, right? So what would be the big difference now? Now, in the meantime, we see Lydia go to the hospital, right? She checking back up on Miss, Esther, and she says, I was told the procedure was canceled. And he was like, the uterus harvesting. I say, uterus harvesting? What is that? So the doctor said, yeah, thanks for coming. And, she's saying how it's so unfortunate. Tragedy just seems to follow this poor soul and all of that. He said, well, happily not today. Okay, we stopped the procedure because we found that this handmaid has been filled with the divine light. Praise be his mercy. She like, what the heck you talking about? She's pregnant. He gonna say, yeah, 3 weeks along. So I'm like, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3. So they, freaking Lydia looking around. She trying to figure out how did this happen. I'm trying to figure out how did this happen. The doctor saying she gonna be transferred to the hospital because it's high risk. So I said, well, I know how it happens. Okay, I know what we got to do to get it. But what I want to know is who did it to her. Okay, when and where was this? So I'm starting to put 2 and 2 together. And I'm like, I know y'all not telling me raggedy ass Putman, was giving her some other thing besides chocolate or taking other things. And that's the whole reason why he told Lydia and them to get out the room. So I'm like, oh shoot, that makes a lot more sense to me to why she reacted the way that she did and she went off and all of that. Like, yes, I get it. She would have went off anyway, probably, but I don't think it would have been to that degree because, at the end of the day, she had every right to be mad and to not want to, be there or whatever, or be in this situation, period. But the fact that he violated her like that, that would explain herself wanting to take herself out, going at Janine the way she did and all of that. And so on Lydia saying, listen to me, I need you to know, I need you to keep it real. I need you to spill the tea, okay? Let me know everything that's happening because I'm hearing about your new little situation that's going on. I heard the most surprising news and I need to know what happened in that daggone room. She knew daggone well what the answer was beforehand, but she wanted to hear it from her. She was like, you're going to have to keep, put me to the bottom or something and be honest with me and let me know the truth. So she was like, was it Commander Putman or not? What is going on? Do you remember anything that happened? Did you put yourself there in any type of way? So Lydia was shaking her head like, yeah, she remember. She like, okay, I need you to be completely honest with me and tell me what happened when you was in that daggone room. And she basically was like, she asking her, do you understand me? And so Esther was like, he raped me. And she was like, what? She was like, oh, okay. That is horrible, okay? That is absolutely horrible. You know what I'm saying? We do not go for that. Like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That is out of line, out of pocket. And so basically Esther starts going off like, no, you're not. Okay, you do not care, whatever the case may be. It don't make you no difference in the daggone world. She was like, yes, I do. She was like, no, none of y'all care, child. She started yelling and screaming, okay, going crazy. I cannot demonstrate it right now, y'all, because my throat is killing me, all right? But she went off, okay? She absolutely started screaming at the top of her lungs, throwing stuff all over the wall, throwing herself all over the place because they had her in handcuffs. And to the point that Lydia had to just back up and start, screaming and calling for help, okay? They don't traumatize this daggone girl. I felt so bad for her. So in the meantime, now we know Putman did that. And so she got ahead to Lawrence and she telling him about it. And he's like, well, I don't understand what the big deal is. He was like, she would have became his handmaid like what, the next day, a couple days later anyway. And so Lydia's getting pissed with him like, oh, so now we don't have to follow the rules or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, she wasn't his handmaid yet, and that's not the way that we do things. This is supposed to be like a ceremony, right? And so now she's upset because she's basically like, are you playing the games with God? Are you trying to make fun of God or whatever the case may be? And so Commander Lawrence had to tell her, watch her tone, okay? Watch who the hell she talking to up in here and don't forget her place, because he was like, enlighten me. I don't understand what's the sin here. She was like, he violated the daggone girl, okay? And he gonna say technically and laugh. She was like, the ceremony is sacred, all right? And so I find that really interesting, right? That's a topic within itself. But she was like, you mock God's name and you defend the rapist. That's what we doing up in here. So he was like, you know what? Calm yourself or whatever the case may be. Because she told him one day there will be justice. I said, oh, okay, this is getting spicy. What's going on here, Lydia? Lydia talking about justice. What justice you giving, girl? So he was like, watch it, okay? Watch your tone. You're forgetting yourself. Calm your behind down, bring it back down. So she was like, okay, he gonna talk about something, I will take what you saying into consideration. Thank you. I thank you for giving me this info. You have given me a lot to think about. And she basically was like, well, you are very welcome, Commander, okay, and I will leave you to it. I said, ooh, okay, let's see where this gonna go. So we got June and Luke in these daggone cages, He's talking about if they not Gilead, who are they? Mara got to be losing her shit right now. She got to be looking for us. He walking back and forth. He's saying, about Mayday and they may come. And, he's like, Mayday ain't coming, right? And she's like, I don't know. She's sitting there just as calm, as cool, and collective as could be. And he, of course, is losing it. And again, I know it might be annoying to some people, but I was like, to me, that's realistic. If he was sitting there calm and she was sitting there calm, I wouldn't really believe it. I was like, I would be like, okay, they ain't asking no questions. They ain't trying to, do nothing. He basically says, I'm sorry if I'm trying to like get us out of here and think about different things. He was like, you've been through this? How many times have you been through this? And when she says it a few times, he gets even more upset. Like, you know, this is crazy. This is what you had to go through. And of course, he's feeling all kind of different ways. One, he already felt that way. Two, Serena made him feel even more bad about it. And now three, he's actually there and he's seeing the type of situations that she used to have to go through. And so she's just telling him like, please stop, you know, beating yourself up, blaming yourself and going through all these different things is not going to do anything. Save your energy, just have a seat. She was like, I survived at the end of the day. I did get back to you. So, you know, that's what we should be focusing on. So he was like, yeah. So now, you know, they basically just both calmed down and was talking with each other, whatever have you, right? And he was like, you know, just to think about you being in a place like this, right? And so now they come and they want to do these daggone fingerprints, and June is still pretty much telling them her name and telling them to contact Commander Lawrence, okay, get in touch with him and try to speak to him and stuff like that, right? And, you know, of course, Luke was also saying to her, like, you know, I just wish I could have been there for you. And she was like, you were there with me, okay? You were always there with me. So we get freaking Serena and Miss Willa in here doing these flowers, right? They fixing up these flowers and having little girl time, girl talk. So she's like, you know, I found the Landers to be quite the gentleman this morning, okay? She was like, oh, I'm glad you agree, girl. She like, yeah, you know, he really seems like a catch. But she was like, did he tell you he was a doctor with the University of Toronto? She was like, no, but he asked me to dinner. She was like, oh, wow, that's wonderful. Serena's like, yeah, but I'm not sure I agree. She was like, but why? She said, because one, I'm freaking pregnant. Two, I'm a daggone widow. He's nice and everything, but I'm not going to date my daggone gynecologist. Like, come on. You know, and I'm not really looking to get with anybody in the near future. So she was like, you know, she says, this is not actually Gilead. And I had to laugh when she said that, because Mrs. Willer was like, you can't be a single mother, girl. A child needs a mother and a father, baby. So Serena's like, yeah, but I'm not. I'm a widow. Okay. And so I said, girl, wake up, okay? I wanted to do what freaking Lawrence Fishburne did at the end of what was that, School Days, and be like, Serena, wake up, wake up, wake up. You are not a visitor in these people's house, and they are not looking out for your best interest, girl. What they want to do is harvest your damn baby, okay, and take it away from you, probably option number one. And option number two would be to put you off to somebody else so that you can have the daggone baby and be with them. That is your options. But as far as you thinking you're going to get up out of here and just roam around free, la-da-dee, la-da-da, that's not happening, boo. So I need you to wake up, all right? So in the meantime, she starts to say, you know, that she was a widow and all of that. And so Mrs. Willer, you know, she was trying to be nice, baby. She was trying to be nice for a minute. She told her, this ain't about your feelings. This is about we got to get done, boo, okay? So she was like, I'm going to take a break from these flowers. And she was like, where you think you going? Serena said, I'm going for a walk. She was like, oh, no, it's too cold. You can't go out there. Dr. Lander said you need rest. She was like, well, perhaps you could get on the phone with Commander Lawrence. She was like, absolutely not. You need your rest. Your baby needs your rest. Did y'all see how quick that bitch switched up? She was like, that's final. Basically talked to her like she was a child. So Serena was like, excuse me? And she was like, go to your room. Bitch, go to your room. Now I added in that part, but y'all get the point. She switched up and turned into a damn demon. I said, uh-oh, shit getting real here right now. Maybe Serena's starting to catch on. So she go ahead and she go to her room. You know, Miss Willa walking behind her looking, making sure, honey, she's about to come whip her ass if she didn't get to that room. So she get up there and she start and holding her belly or whatever. And I'm sorry, I don't feel sorry for Serena. I know somebody asked me last excuse me, y'all. I know somebody asked me last week, like, oh, I felt a little bad, Serena. For Serena, I didn't, okay? I started feeling sorry for Serena a while back. There was a couple different times she got me to feel something for her for like 2 seconds, and then she'll go back and do some other freaking foolery, and it would turn me off. So I don't feel bad for her now. I feel like you getting back exactly what you was giving to all these people for all these time, okay? Especially June. So moving on from that, Luke over here making jokes about, June, but he's like, oh, your butt looking good over there. If this cage wasn't in between us, he's asking her how she making out with sitting on that hard ass floor. And she was like, it's okay. She was like, oh, you want to talk about my butt now? And he was saying how they was in the, Airbnb or whatever. He really liked this place. The ceilings is tall and all of that. And there's a natural light that's coming in and it's starting to grow on him. So he was like, well, here comes housekeeping, because the guys came back around at that point, and that's when they was basically wanting to do the fingerprints. And again, she's giving them all her info so that they could go ahead and reach out to somebody, right? And when they go in there with Luke want to fight. Luke want to run, okay, first and foremost. She like, Luke, don't run, don't run, don't run. Then he want to fight. And, she telling Luke to stop. Look, Luke was trying to get them a run for their money. He a big dude. But there's a whole bunch of them on his ass, right? And at this point, they done beat him up. They choking him. She's like, listen, let him go. He's not resisting. Let him go. Get off of him. Stop it, stop it, stop it. They still beating him. She like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Y'all freaking animals. Stop it. What are y'all doing? Stop it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So they beat him to a pulp and throw him in the... I don't mean to laugh, but June was like, where are you taking them? And they end up putting him right back in the daggone cell. And she talking about y'all animals. And I said, girl, you already know they don't give a damn about nothing, okay? They don't give a damn about what you saying or anything else. She's saying they're asking him, is he okay? And Luke is just freaking out of it. So now we have, Commander Lawrence and Nick and Putman all having these damn drinks and, smoking on the cigars. He talking about, yeah, he like it quick and easy. And they was like, yeah, of course you do. He's telling Lawrence your plans for Bethlehem is dead. And I don't know how you thought you was going to do anything with that anyway. This is what's best for Gilead. And he was like, be a good sport about it. And then, absolutely, absolutely. I'm sorry, I lost my thought for a minute. Freaking Commander Lawrence was saying this is a good example for the young Commander Blaine, and Nick is saying, how he's learned so much from Putman and from, Lawrence or whatever the case may be, right? I'm learning a lot from the both of you. And so he basically was like, well, I didn't give her any thought and, how this baby could be, and it feels like it's a greater blessing. And he was like, Lawrence told him I always took you for a Jezebel's man. Wouldn't it make more sense for you to just be a quickie behind the desk than you going and actually acting like you want to follow the rules, right? And have a handmaids or whatever with you and your wife. And so he basically was like, oh, well, I find it funny that you're having anything to say on any of the subjects because you don't seem to follow anything either. And, Lawrence is basically telling him he's too busy for that. And so basically he was just admitting to them everything that, Esther said. Not that I thought that she was damn lying, but it made me want to go through the TV and slap the hell out of him, okay? And so now we get Serena. She over here meeting up with, Mr. Wheeler, okay, and she thought that he was bringing her in there because of the whole argument she had with his wife, like, oh, I'm sure your wife told you what went down, and he was like, nah, okay, we ain't here to talk about that. He was like, I'm sure you and my wife will figure out something and work out whatever's going on. She mentioned a little something to me, but that's not what I got you here for. So she was like, oh, I'm sure we will. So she's like, well, what exactly is it, okay? What is going on? So he basically was like, we have apprehended Mrs. Damn June. So she was like, are you sure? Are you sure it's her? Whatever. And then he's like, yeah, oh, well, what is going to happen now? And he was like, that they are gonna basically take over, okay? They are taking her to no man's land, and they are essentially are gonna do the same thing, to her that she did to Fred, right? And they don't trust Gilead now to deal with this. And I found that real interesting. I said, oh, okay, now we not trusting Gilead. They feel like Gilead actually might be weak with this. She would probably end up getting away again. And, Serena makes the comment like, yeah, well, they do seem to have kind of like a, oh gosh, what was the word she used? I'll forget it, but, moving on, it'll come back to me. So he was telling her she was traveling with her husband. Has been verified. You don't have to ever worry about them again. That's that with that. And so, she start having like tears coming to her eyes, right? And she's, he telling her she could focus on her and the baby. So she basically was like, well, I want to be there. I want to see this. I want to be a witness, okay? And he's like, no, no, no. You can't do that, or whatever the case may be. That would be too much, you know what I'm saying, for you and the baby and all of that kind of stuff, right? Because you're supposed to be, on bed rest, and he was saying he was gonna send Ezra there to deal with her there on no man's land, right? And so she's like what they did to Fred, that actually seems to be getting her excited. And he was like, yeah, exactly like that, or whatever, right? And so she was saying she wanted to be able to tell her unborn child that, they got the killer of, his father, and they took him from this earth or whatever. And they was basically saying that they wanted to deal with her properly, okay? And so she was basically like, oh, of course, she wants this done. Oh, sympathizers. That's what it was. She was like, they got too many sympathizers there. So she was on the same page with him as far as them doing it on their own and getting her whatever. So I said, okay, this is interesting. So now she's over here like, I want to go with Ezra. And that's when he was telling her like, nah, you can't do that. That's going to be too much, not in your condition. But she convinces him. I was surprised that, she did. She was like, I really want to see this. I want to be there. I want to be a witness. She took so much from me. I need to see it. I need to be able to see this to the end and look her in her face, and when this is going down or whatever the case may be. And so he was like, saying he understands, and okay, he will let her go, because she was like, she want to tell her son, that she done got his his father's killer. So she's like, thank you, whatever, because he said he was gonna let her go. So now in the meantime, now you goddamn June sitting here saying, I'm sorry to freaking Luke, she's saying I'm sorry over and over and over. And he's like, she said, I should have told you. I should have let you come to no man's land, because at the end of the day, I know how all this works. I should have stopped you, and I'm just so sorry. And he's basically like, stop it. Don't say that or whatever. I decided to do this. I decided to be here. It's not your fault. That's on me. And he was like, I don't want to hear you saying that or whatever, right? And then she's telling him we're going to stay alive. She was like, he's telling her if we get to Gilead, they're going to execute us. He says the last time I didn't get to say goodbye. And she was like, you listen to me. I'm saying? No matter what, we are going to get through this or whatever. We are going to be okay. Last time when we were apart, I basically... I'm sorry, y'all. Freaking hurt my freaking throat hurt so bad. But she was like, no matter what happened, I never gave up hope, and we cannot give up hope now. We got to hold on. We got to stay strong, okay, out here. Because I knew that I was going to get back together with you, right? So she was like, I love you. And he was saying, I love you. And I'm not going to lie, y'all. Okay, I was getting a little teary-eyed there. Y'all know I be getting sensitive, okay? And so basically they start holding hands through the damn cage. Now, in the meantime, Miss Willa go ahead and walking Serena to the car. And she's telling her, if you feel any little bit of pain, okay, you turn your behind right back around. You let Ezra know, and he will bring you right back in here. Yo, did y'all see how fast Serena was walking? My girl was like, she was trying to get the hell up out of there. She told her the slightest discomfort to come back. So she was like, oh, I know. Now you could see the look on Mrs. Willard's face as they was getting ready to leave. Like it probably dawned on her. She felt something like, this chick is up to something, right? She probably don't want to come back here after what happened. Now in the meantime, they bringing, Luke and June out. They trying to move them. It's freaking guards everywhere. They all got their face covered. They all got guns. Baby, they start pulling them. They like, no, we stay together. No, June, where you taking him? Where you taking him? And it was giving me color purple, okay, when they was moving Nettie and damn, Celie. And they like, no, no, no. Okay, that's what they was giving me. And so they saying, get off of me. And we hear one of them saying something about taking Luke to the daggone border or whatever. I think that's what I heard. But June keeps yelling. She's like, where y'all taking him? Where y'all taking him? What are y'all doing? What is going on? She was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. Then she just goes to her Y'all know she gonna do that still, okay? Because everybody else was basically being calm. And of course, at the end of the day, she gonna blame herself. God forbid if anything happens to Luke. And she's pretty much feeling like, she's basically a goner right now too. And so that was understandable. And she basically starts to say, like, you can imagine death in your mind, so many times or whatever, right? Like, no matter how many times you see death in your head, I don't think that it happens exactly the way that you expect it to, right? And there's always a curveball. There's always something that you don't fully see through or you don't fully think through, right? And someone that you don't see and an enemy that you didn't see at the time and stuff like that. So I was like, whoa, baby. And she says, no matter what you do at the end, it's always a surprise. Okay. And so in the meantime, she's sitting there in this daggone bus and we seeing Serena and them riding at the same time and her holding her stomach looking like she might be getting ready to go into damn early labor. All right. And we end up seeing that Ezra stops the bus and was like, this is Bob. No, I'm sorry. I'm jumping, y'all. Before that even happened, Mr. Putman and his wife is sitting having dinner. So she like, why everybody staring at us? Because everybody over here going like this, looking at them sideways or whatever while they eating, okay, at this restaurant. So he was like, I'm sure the word got around. She was like, what word? What the hell have you done now? Okay. So he was like, oh, you going to find out and you going to be so daggone pleased, right? Something that's going to be very pleasing to you. I said, okay, so what is this, right? That you think is going to please her, honey. So he was like, you'll be thanking me later or whatever the case may be. So these guards come walking up because she just was like, oh boy, eating her food. And they come walking up to the table and they telling him, you need to come and stay with me. And he was like, well, what the hell for? Why would y'all be bothering me now? What is it that can't wait for a minute? Okay. So they end up grabbing him off that damn table, child, and bringing him down to where Nick and Commander Lawrence is. And they let him know, like, the high council did a vote last night, okay, and you basically have sense of the flesh, baby, all right? The High Criminal Court of Gilead had a special, overnight session, and they found you guilty. I said, ooh, guilty, okay? I'm liking this. Where we going? And he was like, that's insanity, for what? He trying to stand up. They push his ass right back down. They said for the rape of unassigned property. So he was like, she was my handmaid. What are you talking about? She belongs to me. Nick was like, because he said the eyes of the Lord are everywhere, baby. Okay, that's what Commander Lawrence told him, and the wicked, what I'm saying, is not good. So freaking Nick took out that gun. He took him out. I got a baby on the way. Nick was like, boop, right in the head, baby. Okay, right in the kisser. Yeah, you got a baby on the way, but you won't be here to see it. Okay, Miss Putman was over here. So blood done splashed all over Nick's face. I said, oh, that's where the blood come from, because I saw blood in the daggone preview, and I was thinking like maybe he's there while freaking Luke was getting executed or something, God forbid. But no, baby, it's because he done shot Mr. Putman ass. So Putman is out of here. Now, in the meantime, he get home, and, his wife Rose sitting looking all sad on the couch and pathetic and shit. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say pathetic, but she was just looking down. And he comes and he's like, what's going on? You okay? She was like, no, I'm not okay. All right. He was like, you don't need to be worried about Putman or Lawrence or any of that. She was like, well, I am going to be worried about that because I'm worried about the kind of person that this makes you. And he went and he sat down next to her and he was like, I'm the kind of person that's basically going to make a safer place for our child. I'm like, wait a minute, child, she pregnant? What's going on here? So she was like, do you really think that, or do you really believe that, or are you just saying it? He was like, nah, I believe it, okay? That's what it is. And he just started going, fixing his clothes and stuff, okay? Folding up his little leg. Nick don't give a damn, okay? He good with what's going down. And Putman deserves to die any daggone way. And so then we had on Lydia, she's showing the girls Putman on the wall, and she says there's consequences no matter who you are, okay? Nobody is above God, all right? And Putman was an evil man. And Janine was basically like, I wish I could have been here to see it, okay? So then she told them they're going to go back and have some more milk. And then Janine was just still standing there watching. Now, in the meantime, Ezra come up on the bus and he take June off or whatever. And June comes down and she's standing there for a minute asking him who he is. And then when she turn around, she sees Serena. She like, I know you got to be freaking kidding me, okay? You cannot be serious right now. Are you serious? And then Serena's like, yeah, I'm as serious as the time when you told me you hoped that my baby would die inside of me. Do you remember that? June gonna say, yeah, I do, bitch, okay? That was the best day of my life. Excuse me, y'all. I am fighting a cold. So anyway, she's like, that's the best day of my life. So anyway, Serena tells him to take the ties off her. She want her on her knees. She want her to pray. She want her to beg, of course, and all of that. So she get down there and June is like, for God's sake, Serena, for a minute, she's like, please don't, but, don't do it. And then she's like, pray. She's like, all right. So she basically starts to pray that, she wants her daughters to live this life of peace or whatever the case may be without, hate and violence. And she tells Ezra to give her the gun that she wants to do it. She wants a chance for justice. She wants a chance to be able to take her out because she killed her husband or whatever, right? So he falls for it and he gives her the daggone gun, right? So now she's, pointing it at her and she's having June say this prayer and all of that. And next thing you know, when June finished her prayer, she's like, amen. And she turned around and ended up shooting damn Ezra, y'all, right here. Okay. I was like, girl, okay, what are we doing? We don't want to injure him. We don't want to get no fatal shots. We don't want to kill him because it basically went in the damn vest, but it just, incapacitated him for a minute. And she started telling damn June, get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. June like, what the hell you doing? I'm like, what the hell you doing? What is going on here? Okay, plot twist. I didn't see this coming, honey. So she's like, just get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. And they go ahead and June, whip that bad boy around and they in the daggone car now. And they going and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? Where they gonna go? What they gonna do? What's gonna happen? Like, this just got very interesting, okay? But I still don't trust your ass Serena because we know how she do with her in and out, back and forth, up and down. We know that she cannot be trusted. But I look at it like, this is self-preservation at the end of the day, right? Everybody for themselves, everybody doing what's in their best interest. It finally started dawning on her. She started waking up that these people, basically want to take her damn child. So she's over here like, or have her be married off to this damn doctor or whatever. So she like, hurry up, get the hell in the car. And, June like, what the fuck are you doing, Serena? What are you doing? She like, drive. What are you doing? Drive. Okay, so I was like, now this is interesting. This is interesting, you guys. We shall see where this is going to go from here, baby. Okay, put it in the comments. Tell me what you think the next moves is going to be. What you think Miss Serena is up to. Let's discuss. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you are so inclined to give me a wave, let me know you came by. Put some flames up in